I'm Misty Woodford. I was married to Jeff Woodward for 17 years. We actually met at church. We got married in May of 2004. The whole time we've been at Rolling Hills, he's been at the preschool welcome desk wearing a big orange shirt.
He was such a big and lively personality, just such a huge part of the church, and such a great role model for me, even in the tough love, but also making me laugh, and just gave the best hugs on planet Earth.
So February 15th, Jeff went to the hospital, my husband, with COVID symptoms. He'd been suffering at home for a week. Got a breathing treatment. They sent him home, went back the following day because he was getting worse. The day after that, on February 17th, he was moved to the ICU. They decided he needed to be put on a ventilator. And then on March 4th, we life-flighted Jeff to Centennial Medical Center, where he was put on ECMO treatment, which is a heart-lung bypass oxygenation treatment. Was also on kidney dialysis. There, he got much better. During the kids' spring break, the kids actually got to see him for the first time in over a month. Had a great day at the hospital. He was really alert, doing super well. March 19th, we started talking about his discharge plan. March 21st, the oxygenator on his ECMO machine failed. They changed that out early in the day on the 21st. It was considered successful surgery. All of his vitals looked good. And then the next morning on the 22nd, the doctors were making rounds and asked me if he had had any response to me yet that day. And I was like, no. They said, well, we want to do a CT scan just to make sure. An hour later, Dr. John Adams came walking down the hallway, and I knew from the look on his face what he was getting ready to tell me. And he said it was the worst aneurysm and brain bleed he had ever seen. I called Pastor Jeff and talked about what we should do about the kids, and made the decision to let the day that they had seen him over spring break be their last memory. And then we went to school and had to tell the kids that their daddy wasn't coming home. Nobody thinks they're going to be a widow and single mom at 42. Like, I have a plan A, B, and C for life, and that wasn't part of any of those. Over the summer, as things calmed down, I would say that's when the true grief just set in, and you're like, oh, this is a lot. If people are asking how to do church, they just need to see how our church has surrounded us. I mean, the church walked the whole journey with us. They didn't just show up. They were, walking beside us. They carried us. There are multiple families at Rolling Hills because they saw the way our family was left through this. One of my favorite songs is "The Cross Has the Final Word." But the cross didn't have the final word. If the cross had the final word, it ends in death. The empty tomb had the final word.
When my dad was in the hospital, his second day, the verse he got on his Bible app was John 11:4, and it says, "But this sickness will not end in death, but it'll be used for the glory of God, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." And we took that as, he's not gonna die. This is not gonna kill him. And so the day he passed away, we were just sitting there in silence, and there was tears, and there was just such a heaviness. And then for some reason, I just said, death did not win. His earthly body may have stopped breathing, but he continues to be alive and live and has the breath of life in him in heaven. That's eternity. That's what made my dad who he is. And I just think that's what the Easter story is, and I have it too, and I can continue to live out his legacy, and it will not die because it has the message and testimony to Jesus in it, which is everlasting.